Hello my friends, today we are going to be talking about prepping food for our animals. So we talk a lot about prepping, right? A lot of this prepping and a lot of other people that make prepping videos, there's loads of people that make them and everything like this. I think this is the one video I have not yet seen them put out any type of these videos. And it is, what are you prepping for your animals? Your animals, at least around here on our farm, are our bread and butter, okay? That's just what it is, okay? We have cows, horses, chickens, ducks, our livestock guardian dogs, and some farm cats. We used to have many more animals, and pigs and sheep and goats and everything like that. We pretty much have had it all here on the farm. In today's video, I wanted to discuss what are we doing to prepare for in a situation when you cannot go to the Tractor Supply or to the Atwoods or to the Roll King or to just your local farm shop, feed shop, store and pick you up some chicken feed, chicken scratch, crunch, cubes, whatever you want to call it, and throw her in the back of your pickup truck and feed chickens or your cows. What happens when that is all gone? What happens? Okay? Not saying that it will happen, but what are you going to do to prepare for that situation? Okay? Let's go ahead and get into just whenever you think about chickens or dogs or cows and horses and things like that, what do they normally eat? Well, normally with your cows, at least when I think about cows, longhorns or normal beef cows, I think of, first of all, hay. First of all, I think that's like the first thing that should come to mind is hay. Hay's a very tricky thing because if you don't know, it's very tricky to make hay on your own land, especially naturally. It's very tricky to grow hay and grow cows. The saying around here is you're either going to grow hay or you're going to grow cows. You got to make up that decision. It's very tricky to grow hay and grow cows on the same bit of land. Is it possible? Of course it is. Nothing's impossible. So I've been doing a little bit of studying here about just food in general for birds and your animals and everything like that, and the turkey's very annoying. The easiest way to figure out a lot of the problems, especially with these type of problems, is history's repeating itself. So how do we learn, so we want to learn how to deal with these things. Well, all you gotta do is look back on history and it will solve all your problems. It's quite incredible thing to do. So I looked back and Great Depression and everything like that. Well, what were people doing back then to feed their cows? Well, you can graze cows all year long until wintertime rolls around here, and then we gotta start putting out hay. Okay, there's only two things that I can do for the cows and horses situation for prepping for them. Prepping for them is going to be, I'm gonna have to make some deals with some hay guys in the future. With horses and cows, mainly grass, okay? Rarely we have to give them, and on top of that, on top of our hay situation, we do have to think about worming and things like that. So we're pretty stocked up on the worming side of things because down here in Texas, we do get worms. Our animals do get worms, and about annually we do worm our animals. We've stocked up on all those type of things. It's kind of tricky because the cows eat a lot of hay. So there's two things that we can do for the cows and the horses. The first thing is we can buy a whole winter's worth of hay, and that's normally what we do. About 40 to 50 bales of hay will get us through a winter. The tricky part about hay is that you can't stock up enough for 20 years worth, because by that time it would be rotted and went back to the earth. But the other thing that I was thinking about that they used to do, and people still do, is silage. And it's pretty easy to do, but you can make your own silage, and it's kind of like that brand out there. It's called chaff hay, and but back in World War II, farms, when they didn't have access to hay and different things like that, they made their own chaff hays. They made their own type of silage, which I thought was super cool. I want to start experimenting with that. The tricky part would be if something did go wrong, right? And if it went wrong in, if it was like a drought situation, that would be tricky. On to the next thing. The next thing on our list is chickens. Chickens. We have chickens and ducks on the farm. They primarily eat scratch, or crunch, or whatever you want to call it. The tricky thing about that is we go through about 13,000 pounds of feed every year. I've crunched the numbers, I've done all that type of things around the farm. So that's how much we use every year. You might be saying, you should just go ahead and buy your stuff in bulk. That, boom, problem solved, right? Well, when you think about 13,000 pounds of food, and then if you look at the average size silo, so what we were thinking, at that number, at that amount of poundage, I was like, well, we buy roughly around 300 pounds a week for our small farm here of just crunch, not including chicken scratch too. For just the hens. They're our breeder flock, so we treat them a little bit nicer. So I was thinking, well, why not we cut out the middleman, right? We cut out our little local farm shop, right, that we're buying in bulk there, right? And we buy it directly from the grain mill, like buy it straight from them, Mack truck load, bring it in, dump it in a silo, well, and buy a year's worth of it. Well, it would work if we were in a colder area. I don't even think this will work in any, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I don't think this would work in any area in the lower 48 anyway. Just because the summer, I think in all areas, up north, it would work for longer periods of time. You might be able to get away with 6 or 8 months of grain storage. Down here, we called in and we were talking to some good old boys and everything like that, and they're like, look, if you buy that much feed, you better be ready to go through it in like 40 days, because after that it's going to start going bad. It's going to mold. It's not good. The moisture gets to it, the heat gets to it, it's going to go bad, okay? We're like, stinks. So that put a big hitch in everything, because I thought that was our solution, just buy in bulk, buy once a year, or even twice a year for that matter. I mean, I don't care. It's better than buying feed every week, So what can we do? Prepare for that? Well, it's not that hard. First of all, we have started to free range the girls and things of that nature. They're all coop trained, so they all come back at night, at least like 99% of them. 1 or 2 dummies will stay out, and then you'll pick them up and throw them in there. So that they've been eating way less feed because of that. Pretty much no feed at all, because they've just been going around in the yard and they're having free access to everything. And then on top of that, kitchen scraps. Definitely don't want to overlook that. You can feed lots of your kitchen scraps to the chickens. Especially if you're getting like a 5-gallon bucket of kitchen scraps every day, you can feed those girls a lot of that. Especially, the other thing too, it all depends on what type of resources you have. This is definitely a community type of thing. If we are in a situation where we can't get grain and we can't get these type of commodities that are very nice to have around here, we're gonna have to trust community, definitely, big time. Community helps community, and you definitely have to rely on other people, sadly. As much as there's a lot of control freaks out there in the prepping world, when it all comes down to it, we do have to rely on people, sadly. We can't have a salt mine, a gold mine, and do all the things, you would die trying. So at some points of the game, we do have to rely on people. And those people, Lord willing, will be your community that you have to rely on. So you might be saying, what do you mean? Well, there's many different ways of doing that. So you could even have a deal with your local, very small town grocery stores. I know a lot of people do it. They go and get all the scraps from there. Bakeries, you can go there, get loads of scraps as well. There's definitely different ways of doing it. Community animals. That was definitely a big thing back in World War II as well. People would have a community pig, a community cow. One family would raise a certain type of thing or do a certain type of thing. And so then the community as a whole, each individual family didn't have to have chickens, cows, horses. Like, they didn't have to have everything, okay? One guy could be the hay guy, one guy could be the chicken guy, you know, one family could do the hay, one family could do grains. The other thing that I was talking about, the cows with the hay, if times do get tough, the bubble pops, the US dollar's worth nothing, it's just gonna have to go back to the good old days of bartering and things like that, which I absolutely love. So if that, in my situation, I got a sawmill, I already barter a lot of the time with my neighbors. You need something, I got wood, I'm the wood guy. I got firewood, I got a sawmill, I have chickens, I got all types of critters to barter with, and it's super exciting, super cool. Definitely setting up a community atmosphere. That's the other thing, we got loads of fruit trees as well. So bartering with fruit and nuts and things like that as well with other supplies that you need. It's just basic things, you know? The other thing is our dogs, okay? You might have livestock guardian dogs. What are we gonna feed them? How can we stock up? The hard thing about stocking up, right? You're stocking up a year's supply, okay? Let's say this. The chicken poop hits the fan, okay? Type of situation. Stuff's really messed up. You can't buy your dog your vegan dog food, you know, the world's upside down. I'm trying to do my research and trying to figure out ways to be more self-sufficient, as much as possible anyway. Trying to figure out ways to not rely on big ag and all those type of things, okay? So with our dog food, okay, we still do buy dog food, okay? I'm not gonna go out and buy a year's worth of dog food, okay? Why? I think it's just silly to do, because dogs are dogs, okay? I mean, at least our dogs are dogs. If times did get rough, I'm gonna be feeding them raw chicken eggs. I'm gonna be feeding them beef bones, soup bones, things of that nature. The other thing too, they live on a farm. There's rodents around this farm, snakes of many sorts. We have chickens and ducks that we keep on hatching out all the time. Things like that. Kitchen scraps that you wouldn't really necessarily feed to your chickens, you could feed to your dogs. It's common sense type of things. Things like that. That's what they used to do back in the day. Hey, you gotta look back. And that type of thing is sustainable, okay? I think that's the one thing that you gotta think about when you're doing the critter preps, okay? It's tricky to prep animal food because they eat so much of it. When we're talking about grains and things like that, it's very, very tricky to do so. Human food's it's a different story, but on the other hand, it's not. It's very much the same, you know. We can very much live off the land if need be. So you gotta think definitely with an open mind. You can't go out there. You're definitely not gonna be able to stockpile, you know, as I've already said, I can't go out and buy 13,000 pounds of chicken food, and you know, it might only be a couple $1,000 or whatever, and then I would have food for the whole year. Well, yeah, but you know, 8 or 10,000 pounds of it would actually go bad before I could even use it all. The other thing that we are doing as well, kind of back to that silage dealio, is mulberry trees. Mulberry trees are absolutely incredible for how much lush growth they put on every year and how hard you have to prune them back in the fall. You can absolutely, with the Muscovy ducks, they absolutely love the fodder, the mulberry fodder. You might be saying, well, my chickens are very picky. Well, or your ducks are very picky. Well, your ducks and chickens won't be that picky when the more hungry, the hungrier they get. So if something was to happen, Lord willing, nothing will happen. I don't know. History's trying to repeat itself right now, and it normally gets away with doing that because it's the future. So anyway, the other big question might be, right now, is what type of food, what type of grains and feed are we actually feeding on the farm, okay? When we first started homesteading, we had, you know, grandiose ideas and things like that. That was about 7 years ago. And we actually, our second year, we started feeding organic grains. We were all organic, totally in 100% organic grains and everything like that. Well, the prices of organic grain was going up quite a bit. This was back when, I mean, organic, a 40-pound bag of organic chicken feed was $27 a bag or so, which wasn't cheap at the time. Today that would be dirt cheap. So we had to make a decision. So our decision was either we keep feeding our birds and all of our animals on the farm organic food. We start buying food from Dollar General, bottom shelf Dollar General, not top shelf, bottom shelf Dollar General food. And we sell everything, start chopping the house up to keep us warm at night, and we find a bridge around here to live under. So we could do that and keep feeding the birds organic feed. So I have clothing on right now, so I guess you already know that we didn't pick that route. Our house is still standing. We did not chop it up for firewood. What do we do? We had to go with just buying normal feed. Okay? It's, you know, you can't do it all, you know? You can't eat 100% organic. It's very, very tricky too. Very expensive too. Oh my goodness. Crazy expensive. I don't know how, it'll be very interesting to see how this whole thing pans out with the whole organic food type of dealio that's going on. I don't know. The normal food that we buy for us, we buy about like, I mean, it's around 90% of all of the food that we buy is organic food, but there is still that 10% that's not really organic. On that same note, we don't try to just eat trash food. So we're not buying, you know, vegetable oil and high fructose corn syrup and, you know, refined bleached flour and refined bleached to high heaven sugars and things like that. Okay, we're not, that 10% is not filled with that type of stuff. It's kind of filled with the peanut butter that we buy is just has peanuts and salt, and it does not have a USDA approved government stamp of approval on it. It does not have that. But anyway, just saying that's what we do. We feed normal crunch. That's what they call it around. Hey, crunch. And if y'all have any ideas, suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments down below on this video. Hope that you liked today's video. I think it's very interesting. It's just something to think about. I wanted to tell y'all what we were doing. Sorry about the wind, but I haven't seen any YouTube videos coming out about this, about prepping your animals, things of that nature. It's just something to think about, definitely. Getting things in place, that's what we're doing, just in case when we go to our local feed store and hey, dude, they don't got any crunch, you know. Even in a situation if the crunch truck just couldn't come for a couple weeks, you know, what are we gonna do? So, you know, it's just all types of things to think about, consider. Hope that y'all liked today's video. Please click the subscribe button If you've learned something, if you enjoyed today's video, go check out the community page. There will be, I've been doing some super fun stuff over there. Over at the community page, there is a question of the day. I think it's absolutely, we all have a super fun time, the whole entire community, all the super fans. It's pretty much all super fans over there. Every morning, I sit down, get my coffee, think about something. Question of the day. Yesterday's question of the day was, what was it? It was, if you had to pick one type of drink, what would it be? For your whole rest of your life, what would it be? Personally, it would be coffee. There was a bunch of health freaks on there that were saying water, but I was saying drinks as like, you know, not water. Because I knew if I put water on there, all the healthy people would click water. And we drink organic coffee, so it's not even bad for you. But anyway, I put on there coffee, tea, and then I always have to have a random one. Always a random one with me. Dr. Pepper. I just picked it out, thin air. We don't drink soda around here. It's terrible for your health, but Dr. Pepper, that's the main brand down here in Texas. Dr. Pepper was started in Texas, all that type of cool stuff, and I was like, Dr. Pepper, why not? Loads of people around here drink Dr. Pepper, so it's funny, little story. When you go into the grocery store and you walk out with anything except Dr. Pepper, you're looked at super weird. You can't like go in there. First of all, Pepsi does not exist in Texas. I don't care what it is. Even Texas people will agree with you. There is no Pepsi advertisement, okay? There is hardly Coca-Cola advertisement. A lot of it is Dr. Pepper advertisement around here. You got Dr. Pepper ice cream, you got Dr. Pepper everything. I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan, okay? James, on the other hand, he likes Dr. Pepper. Does he drink Dr. Pepper? No. But if Dr. Pepper somehow if somebody ever said, hey, you want Dr. Pepper? James would probably be the first one to say yes, so there you go. I don't know why, I'm not the biggest fan of the stuff, but anyway. So, go join us over there on the community tab. We have lots of fun in the mornings. I love seeing it. Our last one got over 1,000 votes. It was just fun. It was just something fun. Building community over there. If you have any questions of the day, leave them down in the comments down below. I would love to read them. So, anyway. Hope that y'all will have a very blessed rest of your day, and we will see y'all on the next video. Bye-bye.